Hello and welcome to the Daily Weekly Podcast.
We'll be sharing our thoughts on a variety of movies and TV shows.
I'm Bradley.
I'm Rachel.
I'm Ridley. I'm back again, but also for the first time.
Back to the future, eh?
Where we're going, we don't need road.
So before we get into the main bulk of this episode, I would like to formally introduce our special guest and longtime friend of mine, Ridley. Woo!
Woo!
Yay!
Welcome to the Daily Weekly
I'm here.
Podcast. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm excited.
We're all absolutely ecstatic that you're here. I mean, we've never had a special guest before, so this is...
And you'll never have one as special as
Probably not, no. So, as always, check out all the links in the description if you're watching on YouTube, and make sure to use the hashtag Daily Weekly Podcast to keep the conversation going.
If you are enjoying this, then be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share with a
And
friend.
out of the way, let's get into it. So, we've looked at some of the best movies based on books, but now it's time to look at some of the worst movies based on books.
That's why I'm here. I'm so pessimistic. It's perfect.
Oh, God. This is a negative episode, guys.
It's all constructive criticism, I suppose.
For the films.
Are they going to do it again?
They might do. With Hollywood these days, they love remakes.
Oh, they really do, don't
Yeah.
So, Rachel, would you like to kick off this list?
I'd love to kick off this list. As you know, I am the reader of the Daily Weekly group. So yeah, again, I've tried to include things that I have actually read myself and then watched myself as well. Obviously, I would have watched it myself. So the first one on my list is a very, very important one, but I don't know if you guys would have heard of it or anything like that. It's All the Bright Places, written by Jennifer Niven in 2015, and then directed by Brett Halley in 2020 for Netflix. It's a Netflix film. And I loved the book. I read the book when I was about 15, and it was so good, and it was heartbreaking, and it was just beautifully done. And then the film just shat all over that. Like, there's no nice way to say it. It just did. Have you guys seen of it? Seen of it?
No.
I haven't seen of it, no, but I have.
Yeah, cool. I haven't seen of it.
What? Why are you laughing?
I just found it funny. But I have heard it on TV.
You've heard it. You've seen
I
it
haven't
and you've
seen
heard
of
it.
it, but I have heard it with my eyes.
I don't know why that's tickled me so much.
Tell us about this. Tell us about this film.
Me?
Yeah, you're the only one who's seen it.
Okay, so... okay, right, serious guys, come on. So All the Bright Places, the book, and the film, obviously they share the same synopsis, but the book was all about this girl whose sister had recently died in a car crash, and she met this guy who basically taught her to love again, like love life and, you know, love others and that sort of thing, and it was really beautiful for my depressed soul when I was 15 years old. And I was recommended to read this book by so many friends, and I was actually gifted it as a Christmas present, and I do still have it now, and I do intend on rereading it. So there were rumours going around about a film coming out, and it coming out in cinemas and stuff like that. I don't know if it was meant to come out in cinemas, but because of the pandemic, it just went straight to Netflix. I'm not too sure. But it was just so bad. It's just so bad. It just didn't encapsulate anything. Like, I know Violet, the girl in it, is meant to be quite emotionless because she's been through all this trauma and it's been really hard. But like, it's gone past that point where it's just like there is no emotion at all. Like, it doesn't even evoke any emotion. And the final scene, which I'm not gonna say because it will give a massive spoiler, it was just done in the wrong way, completely the wrong way for how it was written in the book. It was written so beautifully in the book, and also just how you talk about those topics, you just don't do it like that. So yeah, I love the book. I love the book. Hate the film. It ruined it.
Well, that's unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate.
Sorry,
I'm
that
glad to
sounded
feel my
way
pain.
more sarcastic than I meant it to.
Yeah, no, thanks for that, Ridley. I really appreciate that. But no, I think it's the first film remake where I've loved the book so much that it's personally been, like, I actually felt worse when I finished watching it than when I started. Yeah, it's really bad.
Good.
Yeah. No, and it's got Elle Fanning in it. I think that's her name. I don't really like her as an actress anyway. I think she's quite, I don't know, like rigid. Like, she's just not very good. So I don't like her. I just thought that was bad casting. Yeah. But yeah.
Huh,
yeah.
Well, that's one to probably not put on my watch list.
No, this is like films that you shouldn't watch.
Some of them are still...
And it is always such a risk, like, trying to translate it onto the screen anyway. So I feel like if they hadn't made the film, I would have been like, oh, I want them to make the film, I want them to make a film. But not like that. There's a fine line, and that is it.
Execution is important.
It is. So the next one I thought I'd mention, because again, love the book, hate the film, was The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins, written in 2015, made as a film in the same year, directed by Tate Taylor. I love this book so much. Have you guys read the book or watched the film?
I was under the impression the film was actually quite popular, was it not?
It might well have been, but I'm just like, I hated it. It was nothing on the book.
Is that the one released this year?
No.
No, that's a Hindi film. Sorry, I'm googling it to try and read up about it.
Is the one you're on about?
It came out in 2015.
Starring Emily Blunt. Is that the one? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Yeah, I read the book so quickly. I literally, one time because, you know, when I was skinny, I used to be able to read in the bath. Now it's just a traumatic event. So I used to be able to, like, properly, like, sit in the bath and, like, read a book, have a bath bomb, have a good time. And one time I spent about an hour and a half in the bath just reading the book.
Long baths are good.
I love a lot, like, it was that sort of bath where I was, like, sweating everywhere. Like, it was so, I remember the temperature of that bath. It was such a good bath. Can't beat a bath.
Very memorable bath, really.
So The Girl on the Train, moving on. The Girl on the Train, when people say they devoured a book, I really devoured that book. I loved it so much. But then when I watched the film, so my stepmom, I don't think she'd read the book, but I think she'd heard bits about it. My stepmom was like, oh, we'll get the film then so you can watch the film. We got the film, and I was like, that is so bad. Like, I like Emily Blunt as an actress. I think she's fine, but it just wasn't how it was in my head, and it didn't meet the standards. Also, it's about a girl called Rachel who's an alcoholic.
Do you relate then? Reading up about the film, it's got mixed reviews. So it won a People's Choice Award for Best Thriller, and it was nominated for a few others, like a BAFTA for Best Actress in a Leading Role. But then IMDb rates it at only 6.5 out of 10. So it does have that kind of mix of good and bad. Yeah,
it's probably I'm just like stumbling over my words now. I feel like if you just watch it as a film, you think it's a pretty good, like, mystery thriller kind of thing. I think you think that, but then when you compare it to the book, and the book was so, oh my god, I had them in my head, and, like, they were just perfect in my head, and then I saw them on screen and I was like, you're not perfect. Sorry, Emily Blunt, but you weren't what was in my head.
Yeah, because to be fair, there is a certain expectation from readers. You've got to get to the level of the book in the film, and if you don't, which is unfortunately far too easy to do, you're going to lose out, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, and again, like all the Bright Places, it kind of broke my heart. I think I read them, like, one after the other. I think I read The Girl on the Train first, and then straight after I read All the Bright Places. So that was like a peak in my reading. I was like, I've got such good books at the moment. But yeah, I was just like so let down by both of those films. Like, I had such high hopes, and especially when you hear that the author is like getting involved with the production and stuff, which I'm pretty sure Jennifer Niven and Paula Hawkins were. I might be talking out my arse there, but maybe. I was like, I've got such high hopes. She wouldn't let us down. Paula and Jennifer are not going to let us down, and they did. So that was nice. The next one, I feel like, is going to spark a lot.
I'm excited
of
to
debate
talk about this.
amongst us. Oh, go on, Ridley, take it away.
Twilight Series.
Is this the one?
The films
with
were
the
awful.
They were
Vampires and the werewolves. The really
Yeah.
awful acting. You know, the actors hated being
man.
in it quite famously.
God.
You know, the only good thing
Yeah.
about those films is the soundtrack. You know, Supermassive Black Hole by
the sound-
Muse, for example. Paramore. It's a good sound.
Yeah, the music in it was good. I did actually read all these books and watched all the films as they came out. Yeah, I thought I was Team Jacob, if anyone's interested. I'm not now.
Okay.
Yeah, just thought I'd clarify. So when I was younger, I loved them. Like preteen, I was like, it was like preteen 50 Shades of Grey.
God.
It was like so like racy in my eyes. Racy. It was saucy.
It was naughty.
But now that I'm an adult, it was naughty.
Naughty.
Oh, naughty. But now that I'm an adult and I respect film, I'm going to be the first to say that is an awful series.
Yeah. I do not have time for them. I've seen a couple of scenes and it's painful.
That's probably
It's
all I've seen.
painful to
Just-
watch.
Like, even as an outsider, that's not something I could get into. They're just not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of Kristen Stewart. Like, I'm sure she's great in some areas of life, but just
She
isn't one of them.
always comes across as
Yeah.
quite dull. She has very you can't really call it
the only
minimalist. It's just she doesn't really act much.
It's just she just doesn't do anything. Like, she just sort of stands there and she's like, "You're a vampire," and he's like, "Yeah, hun," and she's like, "Oh my god, but I'm not going to run away because that would be the clever thing to do." Genuinely thought I was going to marry a werewolf at one point in my life.
I mean, it. In fairness, I'm glad Robert Pattinson has moved on to.
He's
better
the only one
things,
who's come out
you
of that
know.
okay. Out of all the
He's
others.
really. I think he's.
Yeah.
He's saved
going
his
from
career.
strength to strength.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Even Taylor Lautner is just like,
Yeah.
where
Oh my
is
God,
he now? Like, I cannot
The
tell
only thing
you
I can remember him
anything
being
he's
in
made.
after those films was like essentially Taken, but like a teen film.
Yes, I watched
It
that.
looked awful. I didn't watch it. I just saw the trailer and thought, oh no.
I watched it just to see what he was up to now. Like, oh, what are you up to now? Well, still nothing.
he was
Brilliant.
in
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Is it?
I thought he was
Cuckoo
good in that
series?
though. But like,
Yes. Oh God.
that's not
yeah,
what
how
you'd
did I forget
expect a
that?
Hollywood actor to.
I
end up.
liked him in Cuckoo,
Yeah, like him.
but it happens to some.
I mean, yeah. Stuff happens. You know.
And Greg Davies just took him under his wing.
Oh, good old Greg Davies.
Yeah, what a ledge.
Go on, hit us with the next one then.
It's another god-awful series, and I hope you agree because that was quite a bold statement. The Divergent Series, written by Veronica Roth between 2011 and 2013, and then directed by multiple unfortunate souls between the years of 2014 and 2016. I don't know, like, in my preteen years, like, I'm talking, like, year 7, year 8 sort of time, I just went through a phase where I would only read books that were series. So I read the Twilight series, the Divergent series, and the Hunger Games series, like, almost back to back. I don't know how I had the capacity for it. I just can't do that now. So I actually learned about the Divergent series because I said to my year 8 English teacher, "Oh, I'm currently reading the Hunger Games," and she was like, "I've got the best recommendation for you. You're gonna love it." And it was the Divergent series, and I like the first one. I like the first book, but the other two were not great. And then the films were equally as poor as the second as the second
The
and
films
third
just
books.
weren't good.
It just no. I feel
How
like it was.
Did they make 3 in the end? I think so. They were going to make.
I think they
think so.
completed. They
Yeah, but
completed the.
I think they wanted to
set
split the third
films
film into 2
to
parts
back up the
Yeah.
books,
because
I
it
believe.
just
Yeah.
didn't go to plan. They cancelled it, and then they were going to make. They were going to make a TV show to continue it. They cancelled
I
that.
don't blame them. It was
Yeah, so my older sister was, I believe, read these, and I think she was quite a big fan. And then I distinctly remember her talking about the films and just not being happy with them.
No, I don't think I even went to the cinema to see them. I think I like waited for them to come out on DVD or like something like that. I just thought, yeah, to be fair, the books weren't my fave, so I wasn't gonna like rush to see it. But I was curious to see it. But I
Yeah.
haven't even bothered watching the last 2 films. Because I just think, no, you don't interest me anymore. And it was around that time, 2014 to 2016, when Shailene Woodley really like made it big in like teen films. So she was in the Divergent series, and she was in The Fault in Our Stars and that sort of thing, and she really felt like a really big actress at that point. And now where is she?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what she's been in recently.
Yeah, I don't know who she is.
No, I mean, she was good. Hang on, let me try and
You're only as
think.
good as your last film.
Oh, she is doing things. Okay, that's good. Sorry. Don't mind me. Oh, and the fit guy in Divergent, the like love interest, is played by Theo James, and oh my god.
Bit of eye
Arwood.
candy for you there, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah. 13-year-old Rach was like, oh. He was actually in the
Wow.
In-Betweeners movie, which shows how well he's done in life.
Hey, don't diss the In-Betweeners movie.
Yeah, but you've got
Oh, I
like
remember
big
his
Hollywood
role. He
films
was
and
such a
then
Horrible
the
person.
In-Betweeners.
Yeah.
He was not nice. He was a not nice man. But no, I feel like we've just taken like a really weird step back into like 2013, 2014. And I feel a bit like, oh, this is so weird.
Is your selections of these films just your bitterness towards your teenage
That's a
years?
better title for
It's
this
come through in
podcast.
the
Yes,
films.
I hated myself as a teen. But yeah, so I think, it just hurts me when they make a film really bad. But then you've got things like Twilight and Divergent, where the books themselves aren't that great to begin with, so you can't blame them.
Yeah, that's something to bear in mind. It reminds me of the Maze Runner series. Yeah, I read 3 of the 4
think about
books, and they went down in quality so much that I didn't bother with the 4th. And then I watched the first film, really disappointing. Couldn't be bothered to watch the others because they got awful reviews.
I feel like after the Divergent series, I really went off sci-fi. So it would have put me off Maze Runner, but had I read it before Divergent, I may well have given it more than 30 seconds of time.
Yeah.
Maze Runner series. I thought that was quite successful. I thought that was more successful than Divergent.
It was, but the films were just not great. The first one was watchable, but the others got such bad critical acclaim that it killed the series, which is probably
Pretty
the case
much.
with a lot of the films we're going to talk about.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. It's really hard to find series of books where they keep up that sort of stamina, like that momentum more so, like just trying to keep it going. Like I'm currently reading the 3rd Bridget Jones book, which came out about 15 years after the other 2 Bridget Jones books. And it's okay, but it's not like my favourite Bridget Jones book. And it is, I give credit to Helen Fielding. It is hard to try and keep up,
the
the
quality.
story and the character and yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
can I do
Bradley,
some
would you like to
talking?
do some talking
Yeah,
now? You can do the intermission if you really like.
Here I am, folks.
He's on the
Oh, you
podcast,
don't-
ladies
you
and
put your
gentlemen.
hand up and you smile nicely.
Obviously. So, it's time for the intermission. If you are
Oh.
enjoying this episode
Alright.
of the podcast, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And why not share it with your friends while you're at it? Check out our second YouTube channel, which is brilliantly called The Daily Weekly 2, where we upload some content that isn't exactly main channel worthy, or just something
Wow.
for somewhere else to go. A second, like a holiday home, a timeshare. And of course, check out the podcast episodes where we discuss some of the best movies based on books. And our star of the show, aside from myself, our special guest, Ridley, has his very own social media for all things film related at Film is Ridley on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Links will be in the video description.
Yeah, I've got a podcast coming soon, so keep your eyes out for that one as well.
Okay, so this next one is actually one that I'm guessing Bradley wrote down.
Of course it's Bradley.
I did this one.
Just like the ghost of podcast past.
Yeah. So just quickly, because they forgot, I'm going to do it for them again. Use the hashtag Daily Weekly Podcast.
What a good guy.
There we go.
So yes, the next film on this list is Green Lantern, which they're laughing at me because it's a superhero movie. That's what I have a passion for. Oh, okay.
No,
then
I'll
forgive you
because I know
I'm
how
like
awful
Rachel
the film
over
is. Yeah,
but yeah, this film was
I like superheroes. Come on.
bad to say the least. It was. I think there's
Pretty
there was a lot of things
shambolic,
wrong with it, but the CGI was one of them. The story. Yeah,
Isn't
I was about to
this
say one of the redeeming
that Ryan
qualities
Reynolds
is the fact
keeps
that
Yes.
taking
Ryan
the
Reynolds
Mickey
was
out
in
of
it.
himself for.
That's about it.
Okay.
One of my favourite things is the post-credit scene in one of the Deadpool films.
Yes!
Deadpool sneaks up behind
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds, who's like reading over the Green Lantern script, and he like kills him.
But yeah,
I think it's
so
brilliant.
it was a very bad
Oh,
movie, and
God.
is it based on a book?
I just
I'm
love
sure
Ryan
there's a Green
Reynolds.
Lantern story out there, but otherwise comic books. But if you're thinking of a novel, I'm sure someone's done something like that.
Comics.
Yeah, I know, I didn't realise
1940.
either, but
I didn't realise
according to
Green Lantern was that
internet,
old.
That's how old he is.
Good old DC comic.
Well, he might have
Oh.
been. I'm sure he might have played a role.
Was he the cause of World War II?
No, World War II started in 1939, so no.
That's so
They
close.
changed the years of
It
World
might have
War
changed
II.
the years so that nobody would get suspicious.
Green Lantern, the secret leader of the Nazi Party? Not quite.
Yeah.
DC
They have.
just struggled with the majority of their films, haven't they? I mean, there's been the odd good one, the Dark Knight trilogy. I know it's not like fully DC, although it's about Batman.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of separate from their kind of DC universe, isn't it?
Mm.
Those films are
Do-
amazing.
do-
I was just gonna say Suicide Squad, the Superman films.
It
It
was.
They all suck.
There's a.
Suicide Squad
Don't.
was alright.
No. No.
Wasn't it? I thought it was.
I went to the cinema and I was sat there,
It-
and my face throughout the film just slowly became
You probably
more
are
and
because a lot
more
of people
one
do
of
like
disdain,
it, but I feel
Am I
like they
thinking of
don't.
the right film?
They don't understand what the film was meant to be. If I'm totally honest, that's my view. Because I didn't see it in the cinema, but when it came
Yeah,
out, I
that
remember
might be
everyone
me
was talking
then.
about it. Oh, let's go
Sorry.
see Suicide Squad.
Sorry.
Oh, Harley Quinn. Oh, Joker. I think they took the wrong message from the film. And when I watched it, finally, I was just a bit bored, to be honest. I was like, oh my god, how did it end up like this? But there we go. That's what I have to say.
Do you think DC has struggled so much because Marvel is so iconic and you kind of have your Marvel fans and your DC fans?
I
Do
think
you
it's a
think
bit
that's
of
the
both,
whole reason
really.
why DC films have struggled, or are they
There's always that
genuinely
rivalry,
god
but
awful?
it's just, the quality of the film itself, if you look at it as its own thing, some of them are good, some of them aren't. But then a lot of people do compare them to Marvel films and what they're like. But it
New
is,
level.
some people like it, some people don't like it. It's like Marmite of films.
What
I
do
just
you
think
think would have made
they-
it better then?
A
Be
completely
honest.
different
Yeah.
storyline,
They use the characters in the...
and also
Wow,
a different
okay.
Joker, and a different Harley Quinn.
You don't like Margot Robbie
I
as
like
Harley
Margot
Quinn?
Robbie as an actress, but I hated how they presented Harley Quinn. Yes, Bradley. Yeah. We know why you like
What?
Margot.
I knew you were going to... She's been
He,
in
wa-
other
he watches The
films.
Wolf of Wall Street a lot.
Oh.
Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey,
Name
Suicide Squad.
probably all
Are
of
there
them.
any
I-
films
I
with
don't
Margot
pay
Robbie
attention
in
to
that she
I'm just
hasn't been
watching the
naked
story.
in?
A lot of them. Once Upon a
No,
Time in
no.
Hollywood.
I really want to
Oh,
see
God.
that.
It's I did a review of this one. It's a really
Oh,
disappointing film for Quentin Tarantino. Yeah, it's his weakest film, at least out of the ones I've seen.
Is Margot Robbie
No.
naked in it at any point?
Yeah.
Bradley won't be
No,
watching it
you
then.
won't. It's also a long film, in fairness.
On to the next film, The Cat and the Hat.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, what an
Yeah,
iconic...
not Michael Myers.
film.
He's
Is it
someone
Michael? Is it Mike Myers?
If Michael Myers
No, I
was the
was
Cat and the Hat,
thinking,
that'd be
is
a
it
whole
Michael
different
I've
story.
never
Michael?
seen
That
them
would
in the
have been a
same
different
room.
How
film
does he
entirely.
want me to?
It'd be very
no,
dark.
That is true.
Can you imagine?
That'd be a much better
I would
story.
love- I
Have
would
you
love
seen
a
people who like try and make the
legitimately
edits just to try and make the film seem really
genred
dark? Have
version
you
of the
seen
film.
those?
I think that'd be interesting.
Yes.
No. Like you put a few scenes in a different
I mean,
order.
to be
it's a
fair,
completely different
it's
film.
not hard to do. The way they made it.
There are so many like hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up with the Cat in the Hat. I thought it was so funny as a kid. It did
I
traumatize me in
find
some
it
areas.
traumatized the
though.
whole generation, to be honest.
It's easily,
It explains
easy
so
watch
much
for
about
me.
all of us.
but you know, it was. Yes, that makes it easy for me, but it was one of the the film
It's a kids'
was
film.
so different to what the Cat and the Hat books were like. Did I say this to you, Rachel? I think I might have said this to you before at some point. But this was the reason that they don't make any more live-action Dr. Seuss films because his estate
Maybe.
didn't like it. So they're like, right, they're not making these anymore. They'll
Yes.
just do animation. But the animated films are arguably better, I would say.
Yes. Yeah. No. Definitely. I mean, I actually
Yeah.
prefer the animated Grinch film to the real life one with Jim Carrey. Controversial. So, and also the Lorax was quite a good film. Horton Hears a Hoot. I'm just like a massive Dr. Seuss advocate, really.
I mean,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I wouldn't go out of
Dr.
my
Seuss.
way to watch the films, but I enjoy them when I do watch them, if that makes sense.
No, I don't know. It was just we had it on repeat as children. Like, I don't know how the disc didn't wear out. But no, it was on all the time when we were growing up. Yeah, it was just it was so funny, but we weren't read the Dr. Seuss books. My mum wanted me to be a bit more highbrow, so
I like rhymes.
yeah. So it was no
Yeah.
rhyming for me, I'm afraid. But no, I can see you like rhymes.
Have you seen
Can you do a
the
rhyme
name of the
for us
games that we
now?
play on our videos?
That
Rachel?
isn't the Cat in
Who
the
comes
Hat.
up with those rhymes? They're fabulous ones.
All
Guys, no.
inspired by Dr. Seuss.
I try hard to
Oh
make those
God.
game names right.
I do love a rhyme, but it just, I don't know. It's just effort.
There are only 50 words in the whole book. 50 different words, that's all it is.
I never actually read that, but everyone says it's so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I might as well read it while we're finishing up then.
Finally, something I can get my teeth
Easy
in.
as that.
50 words, I can manage that.
Yeah, they made a TV series actually.
Yeah.
They did. Starring
It's on
Michael
Netflix.
Douglas. Yeah.
They made a TV series.
It's got a star-studded cast.
Green eggs and ham, I do not like them. Sam, I am. Could you? Would you? With a goat? I would not. Could
We
not.
don't
With a
wanna know
goat?
what you
Would
do
you?
with a
Could you? On a boat? I could not. Would not. On a boat. I will not. Will not. With a goat. Yeah.
You're the new Eminem, you know.
See how quickly I can
I'd read the whole
rhyme green eggs and ham.
But I don't know.
Hang on, so what bit did we
Yeah,
not
the
like?
film's
Did
the
we not like the
problem.
book or did we not like the film in The Cat
I
in
think
the
the
Hat?
book's fine. It's the film is just a bit dodgy, isn't it?
It is a bit creepy. Right, I think we've rinsed The Cat in the Hat as much
Yeah,
as we
we've
possibly
rinsed that
can.
one.
You're
See
the
you
only
next
thing
time,
holding
guys.
us together now,
God,
Bridget.
it's not
Come
even
on.
my show.
Oh.
See you again. If I can stand it. Bye.
Bye.